Hey guys, how's it going? Today I want to speak about the subject of how do you achieve dreams? Well, rule number one, get off your couch and make that dream happen, right? But it's not that simple. There's different kind of dreams. If you're dreaming of having wings and being free as a bird, well, guess what? Unless you have magical powers, all of a sudden it's not going to be possible for you to fly in the manner of a bird. But if you're willing to change your dream a little bit and you still want to fly, well, you can still make that happen. All you need to do is basically and simply either take some pilot lessons or take some plane flying lessons, or if you prefer to go parachuting, that makes you fly more, or paragliding, or whatever it is, then you can make that dream come true just by doing these things. And you see, that's the thing, is that if you have a dream of living on Mars and having a big house there and having the biggest parties on the planet, I guess it's possible. That's somewhat achievable, I guess, but you can't really defy physics of things, and if that makes sense. So it has to be realistic and it has to be achievable. And even if the dream is something that's in some way unachievable, you want to be the king of America, for example. Well, as far as I know, we're not in monarchy anymore, so becoming a king is going to be hard. You can be king of your house, so you have to kind of modify it and make it also realistic within the rules of this world. If you lived in the world of Harry Potter, yes, you could be a magician, but if magic doesn't really exist, well, you could be a magician, but it would be tricks, if that makes sense. You'd have to trick the mind of other people, and you'd have to be a master of illusion, basically. And that could be a magical moment too, but it's kind of different. But at the same time, if you want to achieve a dream, first you have to have that dream. First you have to have that thought. And then once the thought occurs, then you're able to take steps in order to achieve that dream. If, let's say, you want to be a pharmacist, well, first thing you need to do is look up how to become a pharmacist. What kind of diploma do you need? Do you need a diploma? How many years is it going to take? What's the demand, etc., etc., etc. How much are they getting paid? And if you see that still is your dream after you see the reality of it, well, then you start taking steps in order to achieve that. So you can go to school, you can study for it, you can see. But then the thing is that sometimes once you have a dream and you start doing it, you start seeing that maybe it was better left as a dream, if that makes sense. Because maybe you don't like being a pharmacist and you don't like dealing with all these sick people that you see on a daily basis, or all the medication that sometimes is bullshit, or the overprice of things, or whatever you wouldn't like. Or you might actually start doing it and you're like, wow, this is actually better than what I thought. And also dreams that maybe might not have been dreams can basically become very effective and become dreams that you want to have, if that makes sense. So I say, look at what dreams you have, see how realistic they are, and even if they aren't realistic, well, if you've had that dream and you really feel passionate about it, well, try to take the steps in order to achieve it. And then once you've seen how that life is, see if you want to go with it, continue going with it, or if you just realize that it was better left as a dream. Because if, let's say, you want to be a magician like Harry Potter, but then you can't do the magic like the films because it's mostly tricks and maybe it's more difficult than you thought it would be, well, then maybe it's better left undone. But at least you know, and now you know exactly what it was, and you know exactly how it didn't fit with your life. But usually most things, like you might like watching the ballet, but once you go to a ballet and you're like, cool, I'm gonna go start taking some classes and become a ballerina or a dancer or whatever you want to become, then you realize that it's actually a lot of hard work, and maybe it's much more painful than what you even expected or could have ever imagined. And then you think, well, for me to get to that level, I'd have to go through a lot of pain. Can I actually do it? Do I have the mental for it? And then once I do get to that level, will I even get hired? And that's the thing too. Now, of course, sometimes it's best not to think too much, and as long as you're somewhat enjoying something, you should do it. But there's other things that maybe if you like ballet and it's just something that once you start practicing, you don't feel like you want to do that, well, then there's other ways to enjoy it too and still make it part of your dream. You could just keep on going to shows and watching different ballets. You can start learning about the subject. You can also maybe be part of a company without actually having to be a dancer, and still achieve that dream by even choreographing or whatever it is, because you might actually have maybe not the strength and not the experience to actually be a dance choreographer, but you might be able to be great at lighting, or you might be a good stage manager or whatever it is, and then you'd be able to call the cues or be a good assistant director, and maybe through time, even without dancing, you might actually have the experience to become a good director for theater. And that's what I'm saying, is that it's very important to just think about those things, and realize what dreams are worth fighting for, what dreams are not worth fighting for, what dreams you can achieve, what dreams are just not physically possible because they just don't exist in this earth. If your dream is to be a millionaire, but all you're doing is buying lottery tickets, well, I guess you have a chance, and I don't know how many million, to actually strike it hard and become a millionaire, but you'll have a much better chance if you get into a career that actually makes a lot of money. Then you learn about stocks and learn about other things and create more businesses and see if you can create relationships and just do in order to achieve that dream. And probably achieving it, once you've achieved it, the dream will look very different than what you dreamt of, because obviously it's a dream. It's not really real life. So yeah, just try to do the best you can, achieve the dreams you want, try the things that you think you will like, try the things you think you won't like, and just try to make those dreams reality. And if they're not as good in the reality as they were in the dreams, well, then dream again and maybe enjoy them in your dreams, enjoy them in the video games, enjoy them in the films, enjoy them watching it. You don't always have to do. Anyways, that's all I have to say on the subject. Have a great day and talk to you soon. Bye.